Hello, hello. Welcome to The Real Phil Show. Of course, I'm yours truly, the bearded host, with my co-host, the Conscious Root. And we'll be having our special guest join us in a second. But before we get to that, let's do the intro. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's get hype, yo. Let's get hype. Welcome to The Real Phil Show now.
Yeah.
This is where the real go down. We talking politics. Come get in the mix. We go live every Monday at 6. You want positivity and jokes? There's a lot of that, folks. Just make sure you're woke. We trying to loosen the mental bondage. Consider this show unconventional knowledge. Yeah. Straight from the church.
I was wondering if you was gonna bring it.
About to put in some work.
Yeah.
Just keep us on lock. Cause there's no place I'd rather be at 6 o'clock. Yeah. Sometimes, the pastor be. Alright. So we're in the studio. Welcome to all. This is The Real Phil Show. Of course, I'm the bearded host.
Yes, with the Conscious Root.
And we have two special guests tonight in the studio. One of them is invisible. And and the other one is Miss Shamir.
Hey guys.
What up?
Hey guys. Girl, you got
She acting like
Right. Put the bass back in my voice for a little bit. Hey.
she's acting like she's shy, but she's no stranger to The Real Phil Show.
True. It's good to be
But
back.
we want to welcome you to RIP Radio.
I like this.
Yes, sir.
That's
Sir.
Yeah, we weren't here last time we had
Nah,
you.
it's a whole new scene.
Whole
It's
new
a whole
ball
new
game.
environment. I'm excited for this.
Whole
Change
new
is
ball
good.
game.
Change is good.
There it is. All right. And our other guest is actually going to join us in about 15 minutes. His name is Carl James Drew. He was on the show maybe two episodes ago. So he'll be joining us again. We're going to get live later on.
Let's
So
do it.
tonight we're going to be talking about
The topic. The topic.
toxic masculinity in America. Very,
Sounds
very
spicy.
interesting topic. Sounds spicy,
Sounds
huh?
spicy.
I know you're going to get a kick out of
Stop.
this one.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm going to get a kick out of this one. But that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So if you would like to call in, make sure you do so. The number is 301-288-3100. That's 301-288-3100. So make sure you please give us your feedback. What do you think about toxic masculinity in America? All right. Now, of course, I've got a couple shout outs today. If you see my hat, it says Peace King. That is a product of Corriga Bailey, a DC native. He's now in Oakland, California as a teacher. So he's an educator. He did that here in DC and he's now out in California doing his thing. He's also a spoken word artist.
Okay, go in, Paul.
Very, very dope. He's got a pretty big following, and people love him. They love his work. So please, if you like this hat, I get a lot of folks coming to me saying or asking, where do you get this joint? I need it, man. I need it. And women too, you can get it. He has
I like
Peace
that
Queen.
hat. I like that hat.
He has Peace Queen hats too. So you don't have to get the Peace King if you don't want to. You can get the Peace Queen. So please do so. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook at Corriga Bailey. If you can't spell that, we're gonna have a problem. But that's that's Karega. Corriga Bailey. If you didn't get that, just hit me up on my Instagram at The Real Phil Show or at The Real Phil not at The Real Phil, The Real Phil Show at gmail.com. There it is. All right. Also, Kingdom Goals. I used to shout this out on the old station. Kingdom Goals. That's an organization that was founded by one of my soccer teammates and coaches. His name is Gary St. Fleur, Haitian. So we actually went to the same school and played on the soccer team together. He has an organization called Kingdom Goals that does disaster relief work
Nice.
all over the world. Right now, he's focusing in Haiti. So please, if you'd like to donate, you can do so on their Facebook page. You'll find the link at Kingdom Goals. So please do that. All right. Now, let's go into the conscious tip for the day.
The conscious tip. So I actually gave those who follow me on IG a little snippet of what the conscious tip will be about today. And pretty much I wanted to emphasize how important it is that we use our time to the best of our ability. Mm-hmm. And so one thing that I began to put into practice myself is because, you know, if I want to give advice to someone else, I definitely need to be putting it into practice myself. And that is focusing on the amount of time within a given week that I have available to myself. Now, we all have 168 hours in a week. The same amount of time that Beyonce has, the same amount of time that J. Cole has, right? So 168 hours in a week. Now, ideally, we're working 40 hours a week. You know, you sleep a certain amount of time per week, however it depends on that individual person. And if you begin to break down the amount of time that you're eating, literally bunch it all together. Mm-hmm. I spend 10 hours a week eating. I spend 5 hours a week, you know, doing this. I spend a certain amount of time per week doing this. And like literally discover how much time you actually have available when you can be perfecting your craft.
True.
Like I found that I have about 20 to 35 hours of time each week.
Just free
time. Where I'm either using that time online
or sleeping
or oversleeping, sleeping too much, right. Or, you know, playing video. I don't know, whatever you do, you know, but literally see how you can begin to use that time to the best of your ability.
Yep.
Begin to break that time down and say, okay, I'm going to give 5 hours to this project that I've been working on. I'm going to give 4 hours to this project I've been working on. And you know, and the like, and then figure out how you can build your purpose, how you can grow that passion and eventually make the goals that you've set in place a reality. And so it literally comes down to a process where I literally begin to break down the amount of time that I have, and I begin to prosper more so in what it is that I want. You know, and so that's my conscious tip. Focus on the amount of time that we have available throughout the week and use it to the best of your ability.
Now, was that something that you were able to do in college? Or were you even thinking about that?
No, I wasn't thinking about that in college. I was like, yo.
Most of us are, but it's more, it's more of a, let me compartmentalize this thing. So I got school, right? Then I know I have to do well in school. Then if you're doing any other extracurricular activities, you kind of put that in one box. So you know you got to do that. Right. So you've got to etch time for classes, homework, and extracurricular activities. And then if you've got a job, you got to etch some time for that. But it's never like, all right, let me see how I can progress myself. Let me spend 15 to 20 minutes reading whatever book that's going to uplift and inspire me. Let me go out into the community and go to a city council meeting, or let me meet with a politician, or let me just knock on some doors and see how people are doing. You know, we never kind of etch that time out. But when we're in school, for instance, it's school, homework, extracurricular activities, job.
Yeah.
But we're not thinking about that until we get out into the real world and we're like, oh, shoot. Life is tough.
Because you realize you don't have any time.
Exactly. You're
it's like when you're in school, you're prioritizing because that's what's happening right now. Exactly. I have to pass this class. Exactly. I have to go to work because I need to buy these school books. So it's just like I'll make the time and I'll sacrifice certain areas and I'll make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to get to the now, to get to this next step. But it's like I was that kid in school that would read for an hour because I knew I needed it 2 weeks later on from now or something like that. Because in my mind, I need to be comfortable. You know what I mean? I still want to go out and do things, but that's also not something that our education system encourages. It's like focus on here, focus on the now, and we're taught that we have time. Like think about when we first started undergrad to where we are right now. We don't have a lot of time at all, and it goes back to your point about like cultivating and really making sure that it's used for a purpose. So if me reading for an an hour right now is going to help me get set up for 5 years later down the line, then that's what I'll do. But a lot of us don't look at it that way. It's more so, if I read right now for an hour, I can regurgitate that information in a debate, as opposed to I can change the way I think, I can change the world, I can operate differently. So it's like when we branch out from the now and we branch out to every single thing that I do sets me up for something greater, then it becomes different how we use our time. Everything you sign your name on is your legacy. It's getting you to something different. So if we put a little bit more serious thought behind even the little things, then it changes the way we operate. It changes the way we even use just a half an hour of our time. I can't have this conversation with you right now because I have to do this. I have to study. I have to get this information. I got to go work at the community right now because 2 years later, that's going to be my legacy. And that's where I'm getting to.
Have any of you ever literally got to the point where you reach the end of the week, it's Friday, and before you know it, it's like Monday morning, like, dang.
All the time.
How much time? Like,
all the time.
Time just literally flew by.
Yep.
I mean,
every week for me.
Yep.
Because I'm just so regimented and strict on what I'm doing, how my schedule looks.
Exactly.
So I'm literally doing something every single night. You know, when most people kind of just come home from work and relax, watch TV, watch Netflix, I might be doing some of that, but the majority of my time is spent actually trying to edify myself or somebody else.
Right.
So that's why we're here, right? Tonight, Monday nights is etched to trying to edify and benefit somebody else's life. So anyway, that's the conscious tip.
It's conscious tip.
All right, so we're going to go on a real quick break. But before we do so, I want to do two things. Introduce to you guys, of course, our other special guest, Carl James Drew. He just stepped in. Yes, sir.
True.
And the other thing is, we've got the News Me segment coming up after the break. So
that's right. Don't go nowhere.
Don't go anywhere. But we've got some juice on Meek Mill. That's a very big topic.
Here we go.
Very big topic. So we're going to talk about that. We've got Jeff Sessions and his court hearings and Senate hearings, I should say, and then Roy Moore with his nasty ass. So when we come back, you'll get the tip on all of them tree. All of them tree, all right? All right, y'all. This is The Real Phil Show. We'll be right back.
All of that talking don't mold me, but let me tell you what they told me. Since I got rid of the old me, now they say they missing the old me. But when I was the old me, they act like they did not know me. They act like they never knew me. Well, tell them get used to the new me. Whoa, I'm feeling groovy. I found myself, now I can never lose me, yeah. Whoa, my flow so cold, I can wear Coogies in a jacuzzi, yeah. They was doubting when I switched the style up. I said it's okay, let them doubt us. You know you doing something right when they doubting. You know you doing something right when they doubting. They counted me out just like David, but I knew it was mine for the taking. You know you doing something right when they hating. Well, let me take it right to the basics. They looking for a box to put me in. I'm looking for them not to put me in. You can focus on the struggle when you miss your blessing. Like when they focus on my genre, but they miss the message. Oh Lord, I never been so sure, but oh boy, I know it now. They gon' talk, yeah, they gon' talk, yeah, they gon' talk, and I know the sound. But I stand tall, I won't break and I won't fall, no. Look, I tried, no lie, but I can't please them all. I learned that everybody won't be happy for you. They either praying for you or they praying on you. But I'm covered in this here anointing. Got me flexing on them like I'm double jointed. I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, and I fear no evil. Yeah, I see them talking, I don't hear those people. You know chickens can't soar with the eagles. Oh Lord, I never been so sure, but oh boy, I know it now. They gon' talk, yeah, they gon' talk, yeah, they gon' talk, and I know the sound. But I stand tall, I won't break and I won't fall, no. Look, I tried, no lie, but I can't please them all. Oh no, 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 I can't please them all. I can't please the Lord. I can't please them all. You speaking on. I can't please them all. I can't please the Lord. I can't please them all. You speaking on. I give them bars like a convict. Hit the Lord in my content, trying to keep the right conscience when I'm reading through these comments. But I know my belief gon' bring persecution. You know I'm no longer weak, so who the first to do it? Who gon' prove it? You gon' lose it, so get with the movement. Talking school of hard knocks, man, I've been a student. I ain't driving drunk, but you know I've been influenced. Your friends snoozing, it's no surprise. I thought they wanted real with no disguise. They sucking teeth, they rolling eyes. They can kill my vibe, but keep the hope alive. Bring me down, they try, but I'm supposed to rise. You see my light shining and it's polarized. Watch it flash like Polaroids. Trying to see the streets of gold for the golden boy. Talk to me, what's up? Oh Lord, I never been so sure, but oh boy, I know it now. They gon' talk, yeah, they gon' talk, yeah, they gon' talk, and I know the sound. But I stand tall, I won't break and I won't fall, no. Look, I tried, no lie, but I can't please them all, oh no. 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 I can't please them all. 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 I can't please them all.
Hello, hello, hello. This is the Real Phil Show. I'm the bearded host
with the conscious root.
We having a whole lot of fun in here.
Yeah.
So again, we've got our special guest in studio, Shamir.
Hello everyone.
And Carl.
Bless up, what it do?
We good.
True.
So that was just Neville Heiss. Neville Heiss.
You can send me that one. I like that.
Oh
one.
yeah.
You can send me that one.
Yeah, that song is like that. It's like that. Now Neville, quick backstory. I just went to Atlanta. Praise the Lord.
We know, we saw this too.
Yes, sir.
How was the traffic down there?
That's such an adult question. How was the traffic?
Traffic, really?
How was the traffic? Did you pay
So
toll?
I really didn't have that much. I didn't get into that much traffic, but it's crazy out there.
I love the A.
Hey,
The A is me.
we gotta get down there again.
You ain't want to come back.
Nah, I didn't want to come back, but guess what? I
It's
got
too much
priorities.
love.
Right,
Too
right.
much-
How you use your time, Phil.
Right.
How you
Too
Too
much
use your
love
time.
in the A, man.
Way too much. Everywhere I go, women.
Just beauty, huh?
Just beauty.
So
Black
you would say
women.
Beauty.
Just
So-
black women.
that's all you really notice in Atlanta?
Crying.
I mean,
That's
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like,
that all
I
you
mean,
saw, Phil? That's all you saw?
I don't even know what he's doing on my show right
I
now.
think you talking about like, some of the history that you saw down there.
Ain't no history, man.
History.
Ain't no,
You know,
I ain't go
black
there.
history. You know,
I ain't go there for
history
that. I ain't
We're
go
in the
there.
Black
You know,
Mecca,
Rip Radio,
and that's
what
all
up?
you saw?
Who made you like this?
Asking all the wrong questions. What about that shit?
I'm asking the right question. I'm the conscious
care
root,
about
bro.
that,
Like,
man.
You need to go to the A then, and you'll see.
I got family in
You're
the
going to
A.
leave that
You know what I'm
conscious
saying?
shit at home, man.
Thank
And
you,
tell
man.
you that.
Bro, I'll go nowhere without it, man.
All right. So I don't agree with that. Leave the conscious stuff at
Nah,
home.
I'm just playing.
But
I'm just talking.
I mean, right now you can just like sit it on the table
Right.
real quick and then pick it back up after this
Right.
after this topic.
Nah, the South
But
is
anyway.
where it's at, man.
Anyway,
It's a lot of-
anyway.
Give in to peer pressure.
Anyway, so Neville Heiss, he actually performed at a church, at a Sunday church that I went to. It's actually my uncle's Sunday church.
He a Christian rapper or something?
Yeah, no, he's not. He's hip hop, regular hip hop.
Okay.
But he just happened to perform that night at a concert, and so I connected with him. Very humble brother. So please, download his music. Well, I don't know if we download music no more, but get his
iTunes it.
We'll find
iTunes it or whatever they say. He's on all the music platforms. So make sure you look up Neville Heiss, Hice. There it is. All right. So let's get up into this news me stuff. So we've got Meek Mill, right?
Yeah, Meek Mill at the top of the conversation for News Me. And, I mean, for those of you all who haven't been following this, I'm pretty sure everyone has. You know, Meek Mill was recently sentenced to 2 to 4 years.
That's what you get.
Crying.
Okay, we're definitely gonna address
and-
that.
and so it
we
begins.
definitely gonna address that. But Meek Mill was sentenced
I ain't
to
scared
2
of
to 4 years by a black judge. I'm gonna say it, by a black judge, and
Here we go.
it was for violating probation, right? And so he had 2 charges that like initially were the reason why he violated probation, which were dismissed. So although they were dismissed, they still were points that allow the probation to be, to
be revoked.
To be revoked, right?
Yep.
And so going into the bigger picture, what I want to talk about, we actually have a photo that we're going to put up here of a Billboard article that was released by a friend of mine. I want to get her name correct because she's listening.
While you do that,
Yasmin Gray.
Yasmin
Gray. And so she wrote this article, and it's titled "Meek Mill's Controversial Case: Activist Carmen Perez on His Prison Sentence and Mass Incarceration Reform." And so as we look at the bigger picture surrounding Meek Mill and what's really going on with this case, I wanted to really focus in on what some of the artists have done in the past and some of the outspoken individuals have done in the past to address issues like this that have come up. And so you have Jay-Z. He's been very, very outspoken about this. Jay-Z was among many who spearheaded efforts and to bring light to the issues that surrounded Khalif Browder's unjust sentencing. And so Khalif Browder was sentenced to 3 years in solitary confinement on Rikers Island because he wasn't able to afford bail, just $3,000. You know, and so you look at Meek Mill, he can't afford bail, right? Now let me go into this. You got Sean King that spoke out about Pedro Hernandez, another Hispanic young man that was incarcerated, that had a $100,000 bond that they brought attention to, and they were able to get him released as a result of bringing awareness to that.
Right.
And so I bring this all up to say is that Meek Mill, he's incarcerated at this point. And so we hope that he is released, within the speedy amount of time. But given the fact that he is released, when he is released, what do you expect to see from him? Given the fact that so many black individuals have come to his call.
Well, can I say something?
Yeah.
Number one, fuck Meek Mill. Number one.
Thank you.
Because
thank you.
Listen, man.
That's not. I won't expect to hear from you.
Listen, man. Black people blow me. Black people blow the shit out of me.
I done crossed him off my list.
People don't
People
stand for the important shit. Number one, you're a rapper. Okay.
Right.
You've been given more chances than the regular black man.
Boom.
If he was broke, would he be getting all these chances? No, he wouldn't. Khalif Browder had to go to jail for a crime he didn't commit, number one.
Correct.
He did not get out because they wanted him to basically say he was guilty for something that he did not do. Since he did not do that, that's why he was in solitary confinement. They let them beat the shit out of him every fucking day for 3 years.
Correct.
He went in as a 17-year-old kid? 17. He's a child. And you put him in a corrupt ass system. I don't have no sympathy for none of these niggas. At the end of the day, God gave everybody the mental capacity to know right from wrong. Well, they asked Meek Mill not to do one thing. One thing. Don't ride a fucking dirt bike. Don't pop a fucking wheelie. And what did your man do? What did he do? No. I gotta say it again. They asked him to do one thing. They didn't ask him not to smoke weed.
You had one job.
You had one job, bro.
You had one job. But here's what I'm going to say.
That shit's stupid.
Here's what I'm going to say. And I agree with you.
Fuck Meek Mill, man.
For real, man.
Fuck Meek Mill, dog. I can't believe that people are even sitting up here rallying for this dude.
No, here's why.
I didn't see none of these people out rallying for Kaepernick. I ain't see none of these rappers rallying for Kaepernick. That's the shit that's important.
But here's what's important, though. Here's what's important. I agree with the fact that the sentencing is unjust.
How is it unjust?
It's unjust.
How?
I don't think that he should have gotten 2 to 4 years.
Man must have gotten 2 to 4 years off a bag of weed.
But hold on.
0.5.
No, you're right, and that's unjust too.
How? I mean, yeah, that's unjust.
But that was a temporary violation of his payroll.
How many violations did they let slide?
I understand, and that's what I'm saying. He had almost 10 years to correct his mistakes. The same judge was working with him, saying, look, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Gave him personal and professional advice.
Because he was rich. If he was poor, he'd have been in the pen.
So what I'm saying is...
He has rich nigga problems.
What I'm saying is that Meek Mill had the opportunity to right his wrongs.
True.
Okay.
So why didn't he take the opportunity to do that? When the judge clearly gave him personal and professional advice.
Right.
Things that judges don't do. They're not really. They're not allowed to do. So he had the special opportunity, a unique opportunity.
Very special.
To get chance after chance after chance. Maybe it was because he's a rapper. Maybe it's just because the judge cared.
When you have
But
money,
he
you
should
get more leniency.
But he should have made
better decisions
and not violated his probation.
Shamir, I want to hear what you guys say. What you guys say?
I knew you were coming to me. I knew this was happening. Honestly, I'm all about holding people accountable. Like, at the end of the day, you're an adult and you're a grown man and you know the platform that you have. You know the kids that are watching you. Like, all of Philly is standing up for you right now. And from a Philly girl, I'm not standing. Because it's just like, I hold you accountable. Like, I want you to make sure that you're setting the right example. And it goes back into what you were saying. Like, because you have this money, there are certain leniencies and there are certain things that you're allowed to slip and slide and do. At the end of the day, just like you were saying, I asked you not to do one thing. And you did it. So unfortunately, you have to be held accountable for it. The flip side to it is, but we've got Brock Turner that's out on probation living his life because he's a good swimmer and he's doing this and he's doing that. So I get the black community's whole because you sending people for less than an ounce 20 years and that's what they getting. Like, you breaking up families for like a dime bag of weed or something like that. You know what I mean? So I get that understanding of this don't make no sense. 2 to 4 years, that's a long time for just like popping a willy. But at the same time, it's just like, if you're going to be in the justice system and you're going to hold people accountable, I expect it across the board. That rapist needs to be in jail
for life.
Not just the one that popped a willy. And at the end of the day, being a black man and a black man with money, you also understand that the system itself is not designed for you. So you know for a fact that they're gunning for you. They already gave you chances.
And that just goes to solidify my reasoning.
Because you were being stupid.
One job,
you were a black man. You had one job.
Know the system.
And you were getting so many chances.
So many.
Okay,
but the worst part about it is, I just want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Black people are really mad because it was a black woman who sentenced him. Oh,
as if we
what
can't
is a
hold
black
our
woman
people
supposed?
accountable.
Exactly.
As if we're not supposed to hold our people accountable.
What are we supposed to? She went to school, did everything that she needed to do to become a judge.
I was saying that
she
last
gave you
week, and this
ample
nigga didn't wanna
opportunity
listen
to be great, but you wanted to fall by the wayside, and everybody wants to be mad at her. That's not her fucking fault. You had the potential. First off, Meek Mill is richer than 70% of the world. He's richer than 70% of the world.
All the way up here. Hey, but look, if anybody wants to chime in,
sympathy for these.
If anybody wants to chime in, please do so now. Call in 301-288-3100. We're talking about Meek Mill and that foolishness that he's been doing and why he's actually in jail right now for 2 to 4 years.
Bro, let's talk about the foolishness surrounded within the justice system, man.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that. This man has been on probation for 10 years.
Whose fault is that?
10, regardless, bro, 10 years?
Whose fault is that? We can't say regardless.
It's his fault, though. It's his fault.
We can't say regardless because everybody has the opportunity.
Popping a wheelie.
Hold on.
Popping a wheelie.
He was in trouble
Popping
before
a
that.
wheelie?
He was
Really?
in trouble before that.
2 to 4 years and breaking and they said that he was involved in a fight at the airport.
But look,
which police
sentenced,
officers on site said that he was breaking up.
Look, he was
It don't
sentenced.
matter.
No, hold on. He was sentenced to 5 years.
Okay.
Right? 5 years of probation. After he had done, 11 and a half months, or eight he did 8 months of jail time, and was sentenced also to 5 years of probation. Within those 5 years, he continued to violate his parole. Right? So within those 5 years, they continued to increase his payroll, and it ended up just being 10 years. Now, whose fault is that?
I still think it's a form of entrapment.
It is, but at the same time, had he been doing what he was supposed to do, he
and so
wouldn't
is
have been
the
in that
answer?
situation.
Is the answer 2 to 4 years? Is that the answer?
That's not the answer. That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes you
That's what
gotta
I'm
sit
saying.
down and think.
Bro,
That's
you
a
can
problem with people. They don't
Look
think.
what he was doing,
no.
though.
The
Look what he was doing,
problem.
though.
Okay,
He was
sit down
on-
and think, but don't put somebody like Paul Montero said. Don't put him on a shelf in the warehouse.
Bro, you're talking
Right.
like Meek Mill's
Right.
standing for people like Kaepernick. Listen,
Okay,
do you hear the
okay.
music Meek Mill makes? He talks about killing his own people.
okay.
No.
You got a point.
Let me
You got a
talk.
point.
Let me talk.
You got a
'Cause
point. You got a
how
point.
can you sit here and cape for somebody who's not a positive influence in the community? Now, if Kaepernick did this and got sentenced to 2 to 4 years,
I'd be
I
like,
would be distraught.
damn.
I would go wherever he's at, and we would be running it up out there. Meek Mill and Kaepernick are nowhere on the same plateau.
I have something to say about that.
You're right, though.
I
Go
have
ahead,
something
go
to say
ahead,
about
jump in,
that.
jump in.
There was a going back to black people and how we just like we always just support in the weirdest emotional responses. Like people got billboards and all other type of stuff for like Meek Mills and stuff like that, right? But when that one, was it a Fox News reporter or something like that, did that false story that Kaepernick said, oh, if he got a job in NFL, he would stand up for the anthem. Do you know how many black people on my timeline like dishonored Kaepernick real quick? Just yesterday they were just like, he's everything. He's what we need in the community. The minute one story came out, and that's why we have to educate ourselves. You want to hide anything from a nigga, put it in a book, because we don't read. We see what somebody else is following, and then we just, okay, let me just share and post it. And we don't have the full story. A lot of people are supporting Meek without having all that extra history. You don't know the jail time he already did. You don't know how long the probation period was. You don't know how many chances he's already had. So for you to just be up in arms, yes, being up in arms about the judicial system, but understand the way it works and understand that there is a difference between holding people accountable and giving them room to grow and make mistakes. At the end of the day, that line has to be drawn.
Now, a line has to be drawn right here too, because we only got about 5 more minutes for News Me segment. So, although this discussion is super, super, super dope and important, I want to go into the next
because we got
topic.
2 more topics.
Yeah, we got 2 more topics, so we gotta hit
okay.
it.
So the next segment that we want to talk about is regarding Jeff Sessions and the Senate hearing.
His little hobbit behind him.
He don't know nothing.
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
And so we actually have a video that we're going to play where the Democratic Representative Karen Bass was questioning Jeff Sessions at that Senate hearing. We're going to play it for you shortly. Just about a minute long of where she's going back and forth questioning him about the report that was released August 3rd surrounding black identity extremists and what they are within the community, and how the FBI has pinpointed these black organizations as potential hate groups. Right. And so
let's play that video. Cue it up.
I read the report, but you are familiar with the term black identity extremists?
Well, I think so, yes.
So can you tell me what that term means to you? Do you believe that there is a movement of African Americans that identify themselves as black identity extremists, and what does that movement do?
Well, I'd be interesting to see the conclusions of that report, but I'm aware that there are groups that do have an extraordinary commitment to their racial identity, and some have transformed themselves even into violent activists.
Are you aware of white organizations that do this as well? Given that white supremacy is well-documented, well-researched movements such as the neo-Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, etc., are they white identity extremists?
I didn't follow that question. Please, again.
Is there a term or a report on white identity extremists? You mentioned you were familiar with black people who identify with their racial identity.
Yes, but it's not coming to me at this moment.
Not coming to you?
It's
certainly a group such as the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, and then the skinhead movements, but there's a racial identity white movements that have been identified for sure.
So has the FBI done a report on white identity extremists that are likely motivated to target law enforcement officers? Is there such
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Are you aware of a group called the Sovereign Citizens?
I've heard that.
So clearly, Senator Bass laid it to Attorney General Sessions. I mean, Black Power, man. Come on now.
Claim your time. Like,
if she laid into him, she was just like, boom, boom, boom. I don't recall. Oh yeah,
it's not coming to me.
I don't recall that. I'm old. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't recall. Like, what do you recall? You're a lawyer. You've been a lawyer for how many years now? The lawyer of the United States. The lawyer. And you can't recall certain things?
Nope. Only when
really now? Really? So you just recall things at your convenience? Oh, okay. That's how it works.
And so the FBI released this 12-page detailed report on what a black identity extremist is. They even connected individuals who are black that have assaulted or killed other officers in the past between 2014 to present day. Right. And they associated these individuals. I'm not sure if you remember the young man who shot and killed, I believe, 7 or 8 police officers in Dallas, Texas.
Yes, yes.
And they blew him up.
The dude that you said was a hero?
I didn't say he was a hero. You're trying to play me. You're trying to play me. You see how he does that? You see how he does that? Okay.
I'm just asking.
Nah, bro, you trying to send the folks after me. Yeah, I almost did. I was like, hold on. I know you too well.
I don't recall.
He's a black dude.
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
Hey, it was a black dude. You don't recall.
I don't recall, bro. So we're going to keep moving.
All right, man. Let's keep going.
Yeah, but what do you all think about this where the Attorney General says he hasn't even seen this report, this 12-page report that came out August 3rd. August 3rd.
Well,
that so many of us have seen.
He may not have seen it. He may not. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. However, he knew that he was going to be in this.
Say it again.
Show me a white person that ever admits anything they've ever done.
Exactly. He knew that he would have been in this Senate hearing. I'm pretty sure he had advisors that told him, you need to read this. Please just read this. And his advisors probably told him, look, they're going to ask you about this, I'm pretty sure. So just say you don't recall. Say you haven't read it yet.
Move forward.
And just move forward.
It sounds like a regular day under white supremacy. That's literally what that sounds like. I don't recall. You mean the Trail of Tears was real? I don't recall. I don't remember killing out Native Americans.
What is
that?
You
mean Move 9 was real? You mean the United States government actually bombed an entire city block in Philadelphia? I don't recall.
In the 80s. They know exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
They know exactly
They
what
the only ones.
Speaking about
when they get faced with that real shit, they always act like it didn't happen. They some suckers for real, because they know who the best are.
Speaking about suckers, let's move on to Roy Moore.
Straight like that.
With his nasty ass, sucker ass nigga.
You wild, son. Yo, so Roy Moore, as you all know, is the Alabama senator, Republican, and his election is coming up this coming December.
Yep.
And so,
watch him win.
Hell no.
Bet. Watch him win.
I bet $20.
All right, y'all. Yeah, $20.
$20 on air. Roy Moore will not.
All right,
win.
everybody, remember this.
Remember this. I'll bring you back on the show, and we will see who won.
And so, in regards to this conversation around Roy Moore and so many others who I will name shortly, which brings us into the main topic of discussion for the show, toxic masculinity. And so, it's one thing that we spoke about. What toxic masculinity is in American society and how it has gone unaddressed. We've heard it here, there, just a few, I've heard a few people say, oh yeah, toxic masculinity, but I didn't really hear anyone really dive into that topic of conversation.
Let's not dive into it. Just
we're not. But I just wanted to give, just kind of
let's just talk sprinkle
just a little bit.
Sprinkle something on it real quick because we want to talk about Roy Moore's nasty ass. So, how in the world you got all of these allegations? Mm-hmm. You're running for an elected official position, and you're denying all of it, but we have evidence that it's true.
A total of 8 women.
Come on. And y'all were so quick to demonize Bill Cosby, even though he was wrong.
Take down his murals, give back his money,
murals, all of that.
Take his show off the air and everything.
But now we've got a white guy, and I ain't got nothing against white people, but I'm just saying, look at the privilege. Look at the privilege. We're in America, and I know the history, but come on, we need to get to a point where we're treating everybody equally. We can't just have this guy that probably got some money, probably has some influence, running for an elected official position, just saying, oh, no, it didn't happen. Whatever, they're lying.
But that's what we did to Trump.
Like, come on.
But that's what they allowed to happen to Trump.
And that's what I'm saying.
He's in the biggest seat ever.
Why is that okay?
Why is that okay? Because we're living under a society that deems that it's okay. We're living under an entire white supremacist system that says, you know what? It's like the politician that was all like anti-LGBT and all that other kind of stuff. And then you get caught in your office sleeping with a man. It's always the loudest ones with all of the anger. And this is disgusting. You all are going to hell. It just happened. And then it's like, wait a minute, my pants are caught down and it's not a female that I'm with.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. Whoa. And it's just like it's like one of those like Catholic priest stories that you hear about them like touching on the little boys and all that kind of stuff. We know because you're the loudest ones complaining about it.
I want to know why in the world are these sexual allegations just popping up out of nowhere?
Because people are tired.
Is it just the right time?
Because people are tired.
Are they trying to distract us? Are they trying to distract distract us from something else bigger that's about to happen?
I don't think it's a
on?
distraction. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had so that we can begin to address that masculinity that is happening within American culture.
But here's where I'm coming from. We're part of the media, right, Roots?
Yeah.
And we report on things. And we've got CNN, MSNBC, Fox, all of these other media conglomerates that are just reporting on news. But it seems like there's just something that comes up every single day or every week, something new.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out,
the gloves are off now, man.
We're reporting this stuff, but there's actually no change coming about.
I think change comes.
We're just having conversations.
I think change comes after awareness and the conversations. That's when change comes.
And that's very valid. I agree with that. We've got to have a discussion and then be hands-on. But we have the discussion for a week on the news, and then that's it. We don't hear nothing about it on Twitter. We don't hear nothing about it on CNN.
But is it the news's job to promote change or create the change, or is it the people's job? Or is it the people's job? The news is supposed to.
We both have to work.
But the news reports what's happening in your society. The news can't tell. You're not going to see somebody on CNN. Don Lemon's not going to tell you, hey, you all need to have a conversation about toxic masculinity at your home, and these are the steps that you need to do. Seek this type of professional help. His job is to give you the story.
I think that he has, though, and we have a lot of news anchors and political commentators that actually use their platform to uplift a certain issue or a certain individual and say, look, we've got to do better. We've got to have these discussions in our community, and we've got to be hands-on and proactive about changing something.
So are they hands-on?
Who?
That there goes my next question. If you're saying it on the microphone, you're saying it on the TV, because I'm remembering what you're saying. So like, okay, some news outlets may say, hey, we need to have these conversations. We need to do better. Like when Las Vegas happened, we need to talk about gun control.
Yeah.
So okay, we need to talk about gun control. But if it's the news's job to also promote change, are you giving us any numbers? Are you giving us any type of classes? Are you giving us any type of professional names? Or are you just saying, America, we need to have this conversation? We'll be right back. Like.
And then next week we talk about something else, and then it becomes more so of a moment than a movement.
Exactly, and that's what I want to get at. But we're going to get more at this topic after the break. So when we come back, we'll definitely be talking more about toxic masculinity in America. I want to talk about the sexual harassment I have personally experienced from women.
Okay. I believe you. It happens. It happens to everybody. And
y'all nasty.
Let's not.
All right,
let's
y'all.
not.
We'll be right back. I'm the bearded host, and this is the Real Phil Show. Make sure you stay tuned.
Never wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me you're here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till their family members start to pass away. I got to forever wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me you're here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till their family members start to pass away. Hey, hey. Hey, hey. I'll cut you for never wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me you're here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till their family members start to pass away. I cut you for never wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me you're here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till their family members start to pass away. Hey, hey, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah. Watch I know. I look up to the sky like every day. Drop my tears to my knees and I sit and pray. Looking for my mama in the clouds now. Some days I stay there, can't come down. But when I sit and focus just upon her face, all the sadness in my chest, it evaporates. Now I'm reminded of the Savior grace. See my mama bringing mama up to the heaven gates. I got you for never wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me, yeah, they here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till a family members start to watch out. I got to forever wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me, yeah, they here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till a family members start to pass away. I got to forever wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me, yeah, they here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till their family members start to pass away. We've been through many trials and tribulation. Family still together cause we gotta stay strong. Everybody moving just like a vehicle. Nobody above another, everybody equal. No bad mind, just try to love people. Try to love people. And when we go a heaven, mama, that are the sequel. I got to forever wipe these tears away. Pray to God, he told me, yeah, they here to stay. People say you're strong, dog, you'll be okay. Till their family members start to pass away. I look up to the clouds like every day. Drop my tears to my knees and I sit and pray. Looking for my mama in the clouds now. Some days I stay there, can't come down. But when I sit and focus just upon her face, all the silence in my chest evaporates.
This is the Real Phil Show. We are back. We are back. We are back. Now, we just had a heated discussion during the break about toxic masculinity. So we're going to get into that. But I just wanted to highlight, you were just listening to my boy, Orville the Poet. And that song was called Handkerchief, off of his new album, Soul of a Man, Volume 1.
Shout out to my cousin. Oh, we was hooping together on Sunday. They know what it is. I beat you in the 2K too, cuz.
Oh, we gonna
act like you know, bruh. Shout out to the Cavs, bruh.
Oh,
yeah. You know what's up.
So huge shout out to the big homie Over the Poet on your big project, debut project that just came out a few weeks ago. So big shout out to you, homie. Keep doing your thing and go follow his music, man. Get on it. And he's got pure poetry every first Wednesday of the month.
U Street, what
first
up?
Wednesday, Pure Lounge. All right. So make sure you get out there. I think the next one is December 6th. So shout out to Over the Poet. Keep doing your thing. All right. So let's get into this toxic masculinity thing, because I feel like what Al Franken did, Senator Al Franken did, was wrong. The photo was wrong. The act was wrong. I condemn it on every level.
I feel like a big butt is coming.
But
the conjunction.
But conjunction function. All right. I can honestly say that he felt like he was genuinely joking at the time, and how he did it was a joke, but he ended up saying, look, I have to apologize. I know I was wrong in doing that. I should have never done it. It was a joke, but y'all, please forgive me. That was wrong.
I feel like the toxic masculinity that we have within our culture and societies today.
Hold up, don't say our culture. Don't say our.
Why not?
Don't say our
Why
culture.
Not? Why not? No, it is. It is our.
It's more
bro.
white people culture than our culture. Let's be serious.
I don't. No. We're gonna talk about that too.
Toxic masculinity within the black community. Okay. Prime example.
First off, toxic masculinity in the black community, most of all, comes from the system. If you want to be serious,
I'm not disputing that at all, my brother.
So who makes the system?
Because I understand the system, but who perpetuates it?
But who makes the system?
Perpetuates
but who makes the system?
But if you recognize that there's a system that's already destructive, why not do something that's contrary to that productive system?
How?
One, by having this conversation and black men being willing to admit that they still live under the umbrella of toxic masculinity. Here is the totem pole: white man, white woman, black man, black children, black woman. We are completely aware of that. You can't be woke and be conscious and not say that you understand that totem pole. The problem with toxic masculinity is trying to feel as though you say, hey, that's not our culture. That's not what we do. Here's a prime example of it. Have you ever been a little child? I was 8. The first time a woman ever told me, make sure you put some clothes on around them grown men. I'm 8. I'm outside. It's the summer. I'm riding a bike. I'm on a tree. Why do I have to put on, why can't I not wear these shorts and be a little girl because Uncle such and such is coming around? Why aren't you talking to Uncle such and such telling him to stop looking at little girls? Why is that automatically my my problem. Toxic masculinity. We raise our daughters and we don't hold our boys accountable.
But I think that, I agree with your last statement. We don't hold the young boys accountable.
We don't.
But I think also what she was trying to say is, when you get older, this is how you must dress.
But here's the thing. That's a conversation to have when I get older.
No,
not
it's
at,
not.
Not at 8.
No, it is not.
But
I disagree
here's
with
the thing.
you.
Here's why I'm going to disagree with you, because you're not a young black woman living in the city.
Absolutely not.
Here's a question. Have you ever had to walk down the street and see a group of niggas on this side and a group of niggas on that side and figure out which group is going to be safer? Because I do that every single day. When I'm walking down the street, what am I wearing? What do I look like? Are my headphones too loud? Can I not hear? Have you ever been sitting on the middle of U Street and a man just walk up to you and run his hands through your hair? Oh, but you're a woman. I'm supposed to do that.
Give him a chance to answer.
I wore this outfit, but here's the question. I wore this outfit today. I wore this outfit today, and a man walked up to me and tried to touch my breast. You can't even see anything, but he felt, well, that's my right. I'm a man. You're a woman. Toxic masculinity. Yes, these conversations do need to be had, but they need to be had in the right circumstance. You go from don't be wearing them short little shorts around them grown men when you're 8 to all of a sudden when I'm 15 and I'm going to puberty, and now all of a sudden it's, oh, you fast. Don't be nasty. Don't be over there with them grown men. Don't be doing all this. I'm not. I'm being a little girl. I'm being a child. Why are we not addressing what the men are doing?
No, I understand that, and I completely agree when you say that we have to address the issues of making young boys knowledgeable on these things. However, I still stand in saying that young girls need to understand how guys think too. Vice versa, young guys need to understand how young girls think too. So I think that it was very, very relevant that she told you, look, don't dress this way. Make sure you cover up.
Because the grown men that are in this house are going to look at it.
It wasn't always because of the grown men. It's because you're 8 years old and you shouldn't be wearing that shit.
Because I'm wearing wearing a short set to go outside.
It don't matter. Certain shit you don't wear when you're 8 years old.
Here's the thing always with toxic masculinity and with people going through something. The problem is when you cannot victimize someone. If I'm telling you that this is toxic to me, if I'm telling you that this is detrimental to me, you can't say, no, well, you shouldn't just be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. Well, because then black men will then go, well, black women never give us a safe space to communicate and say anything.
How many black men come out and say that? Let's be serious, boo.
Check your Facebook.
First off,
check your Instagram.
I could tell that you said you're from Philly, so you from the hood.
And
okay, I'm not judging.
And then I went to live in Willow Grove.
I'm from both. So I understand what you're saying when you talk about you walk down the block. However, you are a reflection of your parents. So if your parents taught you how to treat a woman from a young age like mine did, you're not gonna be walking around worrying about with an 8-year-old. First off, stop it. You 20-something. If you're looking at an 8-year-old nigga, you need to get your ass whooped.
You're damn Roy Moore.
That has nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like, come on now. Stop that. First off, we are men, so we do have hormones. However, come on, man. The government is the reason that niggas are the way they are. You have all this shit on TV. Do they uplift women in a positive light? What do they call y'all? Bitches and hoes. That's what they call y'all. In the 80s, they was calling women sweet things. Baby girl, honey, shit like that.
And being an ass because the wind was blowing.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Let me finish what I'm saying, please. Thank you. So when all that is coming out, it's all going to be easily perpetuated. They hear the same shit over and over and over and over. What are they going to do? Say the same shit, but put some positive shit around them. They're not going to go that way. They're going to be positive about it. Now, however, let's put women on the pedestal for one time. Because I know a lot of women who fuck with niggas with money just because they have no morals when it comes to a man with money. They let a nigga do whatever. Just like Bill Cosby in the situation. 45 women came out. None of them girls could have probably been telling the truth. But just because he's famous and they can throw dirt on his name, everybody gonna believe it. Women gotta be held accountable for themselves. Everybody should be accountable for themselves. You can't blame that man for looking at you the way that you look when you know your ass shouldn't have came out in them damn booty shorts. Whose fault is that? You wanted that attention.
But we do.
Just because he didn't give it to you the way that your daddy gave you the attention, now he gotta be no, you gotta hold yourself accountable.
Exactly.
Because that's what people should do. Don't look at me because you're doing something. You chose that. That was your lane. You chose to come out in that. So you wanted the attention. But
we do have to address the toxic masculinity issue.
What's toxic?
Everybody has to hold themselves accountable. And of course, us brothers and sisters have to hold each other accountable. In the black community, I'm speaking specifically.
Okay.
We need to hold each other accountable. So we can't be going out in public acting like we ain't got no sense. We ain't got no home training. And some of us don't.
A lot of us don't.
But those that do have home training, we need to be stewards. We need to be guiders, counselors of these of these people that don't have, our brothers and sisters that don't have that home training that we do have. Because then we're just leaving it up to society, aka white people, to label us as whatever they want. And then we're all of a sudden categorized as women beaters, as niggas.
I hate when we like caught up in those stigmas, just because all the shit that they label us, they do more than us.
I hate it too. But look,
white men do not respect their women. No. They've never. That's where the feminist act comes from.
I can't necessarily say that.
I don't want to get into these facts, bro, because I can do this all day.
You can, but we about to close out. We about to close out. So I want to say this: views from the beard. Here it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to do a better job. I don't care who you are, what race you are, male, female, doesn't matter. Gender, it doesn't matter. We've got to do a better job of holding ourselves accountable and understanding that there are issues in our society that we need to address. Toxic masculinity is one of them. It exists. And the pure fact that women feel that way matters. So let's do a better job of understanding that and making a change. Anyways, folks, this is the Bearded Host, Views from the Beard. Thank you for listening to The Real Phil Show. We'll be back next Monday at 6 p.m. Thank you so much.